how do you do? Today we'll be talking about the 7 things in old money aesthetic that affluent men absolutely hate.
Misty eyes, you are my happy ending. Don't know why I've been playing it coy, pretending at your heart's expense. Misty eyes, you are home to me. The only place that I long to be, whenever I'm away. If in any way
So why is old money associated with neutral colours if they no longer wear that? And why do they no longer wear that? So here's the story. So, Western old money, during the time of Chanel, she discovered that neutral colours look better. As in, if a woman is the wrong tone or wrong colour, if she makes a mistake with a neutral colour, and she's a Western woman who's quite bland, it will not look vulgar, it will not show so much. But if a washed out Western woman makes a mistake, and makes the mistake in the wrong season, right? And in a bright colour, it will look garish. For example, a washed out blonde who's cool toned would look hideous in orange. She will look very, vulgar. Whereas for women of colour, and especially if you're black and you wear grey and you're warm-toned black, it will kill you. You will look like you're a corpse, right? That is vulgar, right? Wearing what doesn't suit you is vulgar. So black ladies wearing neutral colours that don't suit them actually looks cheap and vulgar. And, it even looks like you're too much of a pick-me, trying to kiss up to people. No, you have to wear the colour that suits you. So some black women have a cool undertone like Michelle Obama, and some have warmer undertone like Oprah. So Michelle Obama and Oprah cannot wear the same colours. But, if Michelle Obama wears orange, and she has, it doesn't look vulgar on her. But if she wears beige, she looks like she's dying, right? But when she wears grey, which is a neutral in Michelle Obama's colour palette, Michelle Obama looks elegant. So, when you are a woman of colour, the darker you are, the more you cannot wear a neutral without seeing a colour season consultant, but can afford to make a mistake on wearing a bright colour, right? So, if Oprah wears a colour that's, a bright blue, it will look a bit ashy on her. It will not look as beautiful as an orange, for example, but, she could pull it off. The reason neutrals are associated with old money, especially in the United States, is during the time of Chanel in the 30s, they would have to take a voyage across the Atlantic in order to shop in Paris. Well, who could take this time off to go shopping in Paris? Only the affluent. And at the time, they saw Chanel's neutral color palette, and they brought that back home. And, you know, it does work for white women. However, it looks garish on everyone else, even on Mediterranean women. So, you know, it's much better to go to a proper consultation and have the colors, even the neutrals, that suit you. And have proper colors, even a brighter one, like the one I'm wearing. This one suits me and is within my palette. So, in the 80s, color season consulting was invented. Before that, couturier had to use art school training to combine colors, learn color theory, and it took a lot of time and was complex to ensure that a color would suit a lady. We are a canvas, right? And we ladies are a work of art. So, you know, God has already applied some colors on you, and you have to finish the painting to make it aesthetically pleasing. That's why, you know, you cannot just put any color. You have to put a color that vibes with the other two. And as white women are washed out, you know, the wrong neutral would still look okay. Whereas a woman, especially white women with light hair, right? Whereas a woman who has a more Mediterranean complexion like myself, you know, that would not work at all, right? So you have to know what suits you, and that is what looks elegant, elite, and expensive. So, color season consulting started by Color Me Beautiful in the 80s, and it was a trend back then, though it vastly improved the wardrobes. Then, in the 90s, Carolyn Kennedy wore neutrals for Calvin Klein, and it was a rebellion against the fluorescent brights of the 80s, which were not even in people's palette, but people loved bright colors and everything in excess in the 80s, and the 90s was a rebellion of over-minimalism and over-simplification. Men didn't like that at all. What suited Carolyn Kennedy does not suit everyone. It was elegant on her, and that's the problem with middle-class aesthetics, is they copy-paste people, whereas old money hires someone to make them the best version of themselves. After people got tired of the same neutrals in the 90s, another thing started to happen, the internet. And with the internet, people learned, especially the middle class, quickly learned, and also through magazines and so on, because wealth was aspirational at the time, that affluent people wore neutrals. So the middle class started to all copy. And when, for their safety, when everyone starts copying the elite, that is when the elite move on to something else, and that is the trend cycle. So when every middle class, uppity person who's an arrivist thinks that they look posh by wearing neutrals, and they were all being rude to waiters and mean and so on, that's when, after so many people, because reading the magazines of looking like the wealthy, and they were passing themselves off until they opened their mouth and were rude, then the elite decided it's a security hazard that so many people can pass off like them, so they moved on from neutrals to wearing things that suit them in the season and hire stylists, makeup artists, wardrobe stylists, color season and body type consultant, and many simply go to Nordstrom's and have Nordstrom fix their wardrobe, or they hire a professional like myself. Jeannie Sales said that wearing a bright dress in a bright color that suits you will draw far more male attention and interest than something neutral. So she married into money, and even she says that, and she's the authority on that. Men I know all find neutrals ugly in a woman. They asked me when I started my line, can I make things in beautiful colors? Can I make women like flowers, as Mr. Dior did? You know, by a bright color, I do mean if you, for example, washed out blonde, a muted pastel blue may be the right color for you. So, you know, if you are very muted in your complexion, then the muted color would suit you. So you have to know what is the right color that suits you. And that is the most elegant, expensive looking color on you. What looks cheap to old many people is wearing a color that's not in your season. Number 4. So another thing that affluent men and affluent people hate in general is wearing things out of context. You look quite silly and it's not attractive at all. I hate to bring in Anna Bey again, but you know what? How many of you ladies share my videos? Let's be honest. Not very many, because I'm your secret, right, for leveling up. And Anna Bey is what brings in the most clicks, so I'll have to go off a bit about her. So she has videos where she's saying that you should wear a hunting jacket, or some boots which are for riding horses are lovely to go downtown on a date. I'm sorry. An affluent man would say, you know, didn't you change from horseback riding? Why are you wearing this? It does look funny when you wear things out of context. When you wear gym clothes outside of the gym, the worst offenders are these yoga pants that show everything. Don't wear sporting clothes outside of sports, or those short tennis skirts. If you wear them outside of the tennis court, nobody thinks they have shorts on, and they're just thinking you're being easy. So, you know, if you're wearing a tennis outfit outside of the tennis court, men are wondering, where's the tennis court? They're not thinking you're being elegant. You know, you don't look affluent wearing preppy sportswear outside of the sporting event. Now, preppy clothes are exactly what you need for sporting events. So if you go to a regatta, or if you're on a rowing team, wearing appropriate attire for rowing is essential, right? If you're going golfing, you don't want to wear a ball gown. Affluent people have the right outfit for the occasion, right? So if you want to go climbing, you're probably not wearing your yoga outfit, and so on. If you are climbing Mount Everest, you wouldn't wear your yoga outfit or a ball gown. If you're going skiing, maybe a bikini is not appropriate, and so on. Whereas many middle and lower class people see in a magazine how, you know, someone affluent and old money is wearing. Oh my gosh, the Rothschilds, this is them playing polo, or this is them swimming, therefore we should wear a swimsuit to the opera. No, you wear the right thing at the right place and right time, and, you know, don't wear a swimsuit to the opera. Also, this outfit, again, sorry Anna, that's a summer dress. You don't wear a summer dress to the opera. You wear an opera gown to the opera. Wearing something affluent people wear, but at the wrong place and wrong time, is extremely embarrassing. Put yourself in their shoes. Imagine, you know, it's your school, it's a normal thing, and you know, what sport do you play? Affluent sports tend to be more expensive, to have a barrier to entry, but let's say you play soccer or football, and that's your hobby. Do you walk around with your dirty football clothes and wear this on your first date? No. That's how it comes across for an affluent man to see you in your soccer shorts. and your t-shirt. That's how they do think of you with your sneakers. When you're wearing, you think equestrian, polo, Ralph Lauren, old money aesthetic. You know what? It just looks cringeworthy and embarrassing. Wear the proper clothes for the proper place and the proper time. Don't just copy-paste like an idiot. You are not a parrot. You're an individual, a human being. By a bright color, I do mean if you, for example, washed out blonde, a muted pastel blue may be the right color for you. So, you know, if you are very muted in your complexion, then the muted color would suit you. So you have to know what is the right color that suits you. And that is the most elegant, expensive looking color on you. What looks cheap to old many people is wearing a color that's not in your season. What suited Carolyn Kennedy does not suit everyone. It was elegant on her. And that's the problem with middle class aesthetics, is they copy paste people, whereas old money hires someone to make them the best version of themselves. It's what affluent men call the homeless shelter fabric jacket, the Chanel jacket, also known as the overpriced potato sack jacket. Affluent men generally really hate Chanel jackets. I've also heard it being called the granny jacket. They hate it. Why? Because the fabric is quite masculine. Heterosexual men like feminine fabrics, soft to the touch. They love fur and they love silk. So if you notice a fabric that looks soft, looks touchable, makes you more attractive. So, you know, and something dainty. So that fabric Chanel likes to borrow a lot from the boys is very crude and masculine. So she wanted to make something masculine, feminine, and the first time it came out, it was chic because women were so hyper feminine. This was something new and fresh, therefore it should be a trend. Right? Today, men don't care because they've seen it everywhere. It's just not fresh anymore. It's not innovative. It's just old, masculine, manly, and ugly. So if a man has a sweater or something made of this fabric, well, men don't mind it at all. But in a woman, the fabric is just far too rough to be feminine. That's why men hate it on women so much. Plus it's boxy, doesn't show the figure, and that's another thing. Sophia Loren said that the dress should be like a barbed wire fence, serving its purpose without obscuring the view. Also, as you know, Edith Head, who was the designer for Grace Kelly, said that the dress should be tight enough to show you're a woman and loose enough to show you're a lady. That is the importance of dressing old money. Please share, like or hate, and subscribe and comment below. Ciao!